This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Welcome back into another edition of the ORU Basketball Coaches Show here at Waldo's Chicken on 71st and Yale. We are here for an hour until noon, kicking off another week here in South Tulsa, a very chilly one this time around. So it feels a little bit more like January, but hope you guys are doing well. Coach, hope you're doing well. Thanks so much for the time as always. I hope your Monday's going better than the depressed Bears fan over here, but we will move past that very quickly. But just had to get that out there. But
oh my gosh.
Another busy week for your squad, another successful week for your squad, getting 2 wins at home, of course, always important in conference play. I know we talked about the importance of that after both of the games, and we'll recap both of them. We'll start with the game against Kansas City last Thursday, and a game in which we talked about it last Monday. Kansas City's record doesn't necessarily show how good they can be, and I think we saw that for stretches against your team. And, of course, they ended up winning again on Saturday after playing you guys, so they're an even 3-3 in conference. But it was the Alani Bennett show early and often, and we knew that the Twins were going to be a problem. Now, you guys really contained Imani for pretty much the majority of the game, just 2 for 11 from the field. But she was the one who got going early and often. You guys did find a response for her down the stretch and were able to get a nice second half getting going together as well. And that proved really to be the difference.
Right. Elani she's tough. She's tough to guard. Just because she has a guard mindset, guard body, but she's a post, and it's a tough matchup for our post players because she is so quick. She's just great with the spin move. She can get to the rim off of the dribble. She can shoot the mid range. So, I think their coach has done a really good job putting her in a position where she can really maximize her strengths, which became a callus for us throughout the game. And we're rotating 3 or 4 down there to try to contain her, but she just does a really, really good job. But it's just a matter of, for them, very similar to Wichita State, them finding their mix and their groove. And they are a solid basketball team, and with threats all around, they can shoot it. They have a really big post presence, and then with their subs coming in, a different type body, but she's a big post presence as well, and she can shoot the ball. So I thought we did a collective job of containing the guards and then containing Alani as best as we could. We know she was going to get hers. We couldn't let anyone else. And Anna, I believe, started out on Imani, and I think she did a really, really good job on her defensively.
Yeah, defensively, you guys were able to lock her up. And I kept making a point of it, too. She came into the game with 999 career points. I think she missed her first 9 shots. I was like, is she not going to get to 1,000 here tonight? Are you guys going to pitch a shutout on her? And you almost did defensively. It was fun to watch. And then on the other side, you called her Catwoman in the pregame, and I think she looked like a superhero in that game. 21 points for Jaylee Oglesby with the mask on, 3 rebounds, made 10 field goals. It looked like she didn't miss a beat, despite missing 2 games due to that elbow to the face.
Right, and being off a week, and being a teacher by day and basketball player by night. So she's definitely a superhero. But Coach KB, I guess they were watching the game, and his son was like, Miss O, she's my yoga teacher at school. So she teaches, Coach
That's
KB's son. So it's pretty cool what she's been able to do in the load that most people don't know that she carries throughout the day. She is, a pretty much hired teacher. She's going through her internship right now, and she's at school with little kids, pre-K all morning, all afternoon, and then she comes to practice. So that is a job. If you're a mom, that's a job. So imagine 18, 20 of them a day. So, but yeah, she came in and she, like you said, didn't miss a beat, and Jaylee does what she does, and she does it well.
That's hilarious. I had no idea that she taught one of KB's kids.
Yeah,
that is funny.
Mrs. O, yeah, you got to ask him about it. Yeah, I thought it was great. I didn't know she taught yoga, so I got to give her a hard time.
I knew she was doing the teaching thing, but yeah, I didn't know any of the specifics of it. But now we get yoga, and we get one of the Barnett kids in there as well. That is,
and they call her Mrs. O. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's hysterical.
A cool name.
That is really funny. But We'll have to ask him about that in the
Yeah,
second portion of our show. But
for sure.
of course, Jaylee played well. Anna played well yet again, 8 of 17 from the field. And it seemed like she got off to a quiet start, but kind of figured it out there in that second half, and you know played your typical Anna Trusty game in double figures with 18 points and 7 rebounds. And then, I mean, I can't really say enough about Kaiten Donnelly's play this year. I feel like every single time she gets out there, it's consistency, and it's coming from a true freshman. In which, I mean, she looks anything but when she's out there, especially in key situations. She plays 34 minutes, scores 13 points, 3 rebounds, and puts up 6 assists of your guys' 14. I mean, she was really, really good.
Well, like, I mean, KD is the glue man for us. I mean, she does it the whole game in every area. Defensively, her IQ is just unbelievable. She's able to guard a guard, she's able to guard a post, and she's able to block out. And when we're having trouble with that, I think KD has been a constant for us. And we know that if we have to shut this player down and we have to make sure she doesn't get a second chance, KD comes in and she just does a great job. And she's been so consistent for us on both ends of the floor. And I can put her in any position. I mean, like she was running point guard for us on Saturday just because we were down a few. But I mean, that's how you know your program is headed in the right direction when you have freshmen coming in doing that. And I think she's just been a constant. Anna's been a constant. And I mean, you forget that they're only freshmen and sophomores. So like that is just so promising for what we're trying to build here and what we're doing. And they've been great on both ends of the floor. And and Jaylee does Jaylee. So to add those two pieces along with what Jaylee does, like, I mean, it's been a blessing for us in having a consistent defensive and offensive presence. Like that's been huge.
I almost forget about the storyline of Jaylee kind of being the one veteran, not the one veteran, but kind of the main veteran of your group, and
she is, though.
Everybody else kind of follows, and it's really starting to morph in. Well, it's almost like everybody's on a level playing field right now, which is really fun to watch. And I know Elena Shetler got into foul trouble real early in that game, and I think she picked up her third pretty quickly in that second half, so she had to sit a bunch. And I know that's not ideal, especially when you're dealing with a player like Alani down low, but I feel like kind of the post player by committee ended up doing a pretty good job in that second half, because, again, you guys saw what she was doing in that first half and kind of attacking off the dribble, and then you forced other players to try and make plays, and it ended up paying off for you.
Right. And you can see Amaya came in and she stepped in and filled in some gaps. It's just not like a huge production, but like you said it best, collective effort. And, you get 8 here, 10 here, 5 here, 10 here, 22 here, and we have a whole post player, and that's kind of, and I'm just excited and proud and just very pleased on how they are able just to step up every single game and just bring whatever that is, whoever that is, whatever we need to get a stop or to get us over the hump or to have a great game, and so that we as a team can get a win. So, I mean, she's just hard to guard. She's pretty quick for Shed, and she did pick up 2 quick ones. But I thought Amaya came in and her athleticism was able to match Alani's in her length, but still you could tell Alani, she was a vet, and Amaya still, she's a freshman, but she's just getting better and better as the year goes on. And we're missing Zai down there. I think that would have been a great matchup as well for Alani, because Zai is kind of similar body types.
Right.
So, but I think overall everyone stepped in and, helped out, and we got the job done.
You guys take 10 threes, you make 6 of them. And I know that's been a theme. You guys aren't necessarily hunting the three with the dribble drive offense. Yes, you want to collapse and kick, but then you want to get back inside. Mm-hmm. What is it about this team when, because they only take the 10 threes, but they're smart 10 threes because they're picking and choosing the right spots. And of course, when you make 6 of them, that's going to take you a long way.
Right. I just think efficiency is big for us. And if you want to win long, win big, you have to be efficient, and I mean, you can put up a lot of them, but if you're not makers, then you're just putting them up. And then that's a possession that maybe we could have gotten something else. So we've been really harping on, you could take a good shot, but taking great shots. And I think those 10 threes were great shots for us, rhythm threes within the offense. And we've just been really harping on great shot, in your rhythm shot. If you don't like it, reattack or make the pass, let your teammate, but you'll get it back and it'll be in rhythm. And I just think that we practice that quite a bit, and I think it's just starting to pay off. But our girls are really smart about what's their good shot, what's the shot that we need for our team, and we've harped on rhythm three. That's a big thing for us. You can force a lot of threes, but rhythm threes are huge, and they're in the pocket, they're set, and gives you more chance of knocking them down.
You want to talk about efficiency? You guys shoot 55% in that win over Kansas City. That is a pretty hard number if you're the opposition to try and overcome on that offensive end. So an extremely efficient day for you guys. And then you followed up with another win over Omaha, 85-52 on Saturday. And yes, the offense was good, but I think really the story of the game was the overall defense. You guys were all over the place. You forced 25 turnovers. You have 17 steals. And I don't remember the points off of turnovers number off of the top. 35, there it is. So anytime you score 35 points off of 25 turnovers, odds are you're going to come out on top. And it just felt like for a pretty constant amount of time there, it was pick six after pick six after pick six.
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking about on Saturday, just being active and aware, and being a man and a half. That's our big focus. We've wanted to be a man and a half, and then sometimes even two. Like, I have your back, I got your back. If you get beat, I'm there. I'm there to help. But we've really been honing in on do your job. Take care of business, stay in front of the basketball so that we don't have to rotate, but I'm here if you need me. So I think our girls were active, and to get tips and steals and deflections, you have to be keyed in on where the ball is, where your body is, and getting your body in position. You're not a day late. You are, proactive instead of reactive. And I think they were locked in for 4 minutes, and we've been talking about that as well. I mean, for 4 quarters, and we've been talking about that as well. Like, you have to start to set yourself apart, and you have to be able to lock in and start having good quarters, 4 of them, not just 2, not just 3, not digging a hole, being a good team all the time. So I thought they're starting to see defensively. We've been watching some film and just kind of breaking down a few things, and they're taking the film sessions and, not taking them as beatdowns, as we call it, #growth, and they're growing and wanting to get better. So yeah, sometimes film sessions are a little bit rough. There's some tears there, some frustrations, but I think they take it to practice and they really want to get better, and it's paying off.
I think I feel like it's more of a talking point now, and especially college basketball, of you want to give feedback, but you don't want anybody to take it personally. And I feel like some of the best teams in the country are the ones that, don't take the feedback or the criticism personally. And because at the end of the day, you guys are just trying to get better. And
Right.
You just said it, you guys are trying to grow as a team. And sometimes, can it be detrimental? Sure. But at the same time, I feel like the more that you do it, the more used to it everybody's going to get.
Right.
And I feel like we're seeing that with your team as well. Not that, anybody's taking anything personally before, but it just feels like, all right, hey, this is what happened on X play. You can do X, Y, and Z better on
Right.
Y play. And again, I feel like we're seeing that on the court pretty often.
Yeah, and I mean, even us going back to watching practice film back in the summer, and you have to kind of lead with, hey, I'm not going at your shot. This is not about you as a human being. This is about where can I see other options, and don't take it personal. And you have to lead with that a lot, just so they don't get their feelings hurt, because some of them never had film before. But then sometimes it is personal. I'm going straight at you. I'm Connor. What are you doing right here?
I don't know.
Yeah. So some days I'm calling them straight out, and it's a personal challenge. But other days I'm very much, what else can we? And I nitpick. What else can we see? Not this shot. We're not talking about your shot, but what else is open? This is open. This is open. Okay, and that's how you grow. But yeah, sometimes you do have to challenge them personally. Like, I am coming at you, and I want to know what you're thinking and why you're thinking and how can we get better. And then some days it's definitely a us thing. So
I think it's always interesting to see how the athletes too respond from, because yes, coaches will go at a player,
Yeah.
and sometimes I feel like we've seen that on both your side and the men's side. It's always interesting to me how said player responds to that. Is it going to be a good thing? Is it going to be they're going to kind of go back into their cave and hide for a little bit, or in the middle? What kind of responses have you been able to see from your team? Because again, that's not an easy thing to go through, especially
Yeah.
with the amount of young players that you have.
Right. I think with me being consistent with that and them knowing who I am as a person and I'm not attacking them as a human, they know that I am attacking the decision or the play, or they know I'm coming at them for growth. They understand why I am challenging them. There's a lot of love behind it, there's a lot of
Of course.
honesty behind it, but you have to build that. You have to build that love, you have to build that honesty, and you have to build that trust before you can really go at them. Because if you just start attacking that decision that they're making and they don't know that you really love them, it's going to be personal, So it took a lot of that from the beginning in the summertime, just really, hey, this is who we're going to be, this is what we're going to tolerate, this is what we're going to stand for, and holding our staff to that, our players to that, and us being just one unit of accountability and ownership. And I think we've been consistent in that. So now they know when it's, oh, I'm coming, oh, man, you got me, coach, today. But they know that I love them. They know that it's coming from a place of trust, and I just want you to be better so we can be better, and you are better than that. So go out and perform. I believe in you and more than anyone does. So go out and show the world what you're capable of. So I think they know that I'm coming from that arena, and I'm able to dig a little deeper, but it took a few months. It was ugly at first,
For
a lot
sure.
of tears. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of that saying of, once a coach stops coaching you up, they stop caring about you.
Yeah.
So if you're constantly getting hounded, I feel like that's almost a good thing, because you're still trying to get the best out of your players.
Right. And I hope they can say that I come at all of them, and there's not one that I'm like, oh, I don't really get on anymore. Like, because we're still playing 11. We're still
Right.
playing 12. Like, I'm on all of y'all, because you never know when your number is going to get called. So, and we're building something here. So I don't want to have to be still harping on you about, get your feet, force them baseline your junior year, So I want you to be able to start coaching and being an extension of our staff.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Brian was able to point out on the broadcast too on Saturday, was just the amount of depth you guys have, and just what kind of a nightmare it is to scout a team like that, because again, you never know who's it going to be. I mean, this weekend I feel like was a huge weekend for Hannah Coons.
Man,
was
so good. Yeah.
I mean, because we haven't seen her play necessarily elongated minutes, but we did this weekend, and I feel like she produced both times. And again, the same thing. I mean, Ari's been doing a great job this year, and both of them had 15 points off the bench against Omaha. And then, of course, we've seen Presley come off the bench and do really good things. We've seen Bella come off the bench on the road and do really good things.
At a tough environment.
Of course, right? So, I mean, it's just, and I agree with them. I feel like it's kind of just a nightmare to try and put together a scouting report on. But going back to Hannah, too, I mean, played really well against Kansas City, followed it up with arguably an even better performance against Omaha on Saturday. And again, you never know.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to be.
Right. And I love that. I'm super excited for Ari, for Hannah, even for Bella, just to see the growth that they've had from July, and just everything they're going through, especially with Hannah and Ari, just coming off of knee injuries, coming into this level. I know Hannah's been at this level a year prior to, but actually getting in and getting some playing time. And man, Ari, Bella, all of them, Lena Shetler, have just keep climbing, and they just keep, even Zai, just keep climbing and getting better. Presley, I mean, and like I keep saying names and names and I mean, because you just see the growth in where they've come from, and it's not done. It's not over. But I'm just so excited when you can see it on the stat sheet, because we see it in practice and in their minds, oh, it doesn't count. But when you can finally see it on the stat sheet and you can see it on film, like, just super excited for them. But man, super excited for us, like,
of course,
what does that mean for us? Like, and it's a question mark or a ... Like, man, our ceiling is so high, and I'm just so excited, and I hope that we keep climbing. And we're not playing our best basketball right now, but we're playing good basketball. And you want that best basketball. Who can we be?
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, in February and March, if they're going to keep climbing and growing like that. So super excited for them. I am so happy they had breakout games, and I called them out in the locker room. Just happy for our team, and just to see growth like that.
Well, we're here at Waldo's Chicken, 71st and Yale. We are here until noon, so come check us out here on this Martin Luther King Day Monday, a big holiday for everybody as well. And Another person I want to talk about on your roster, and we highlighted her throughout the week too, is Gentry Baldwin. And when you look at, and I know she was playing behind some pretty talented players last year, and there's no secret about that, but she comes over to this year and she's averaging nearly 7 more points a game. She's averaging nearly a rebound and a half more a game. She's nearly averaging 2 more assists per game. I mean, the trajectory of her statistics and just her overall play has been monumental, and I feel like she's really morphed into a really good point guard in the Summit League.
Right. And I think those prior 2 years have helped her. Like she was behind some really good point guards, and she was able to see some things that, she was able to put some jewels away in her pocket. And now she has a crown, and she's able to put those jewels in her crown, and she has an opportunity. And I think she's stepped up. And she's just answered every challenge. And I challenge her quite a bit, not just on the court. I challenge her spiritually. I challenge her personally. And I just want to see a lot of growth from her, because I know if I could see that growth spiritually and personally, she's going to be phenomenal, or even more phenomenal on the court. And I think she's answered every challenge, every call. She just keeps stepping up, and she's having to fill some big gaps, because there's a lot of people that have never played. Just her and Jaylee really have played in the Summit League, played at this level. So she's having to fill some gaps in, and to help everyone understand and the importance of going on the road, and just the little things that really make a program besides Thursday, Saturday.
Right,
so
for sure.
she's been really, really good, and I've been really, really hard on her, but I'm proud of her, and I tell her that all the time. I love what she's doing, and love who she's becoming.
Yeah, I know it's a big deal for her too, because she's from Oklahoma, and I feel like any situation where you get a college basketball player and they got to play behind people for essentially 2 years, they're as good as gone. And she is stuck around, and of course she's seeing the fruit of that labor right now. And again, you mentioned her and Jaylee being kind of the only two that have really gone through the Summit before, and it doesn't really look like it, just because of the way. And it's not only the stats, but you can just kind of see in it. I think Gentry is also a really good example of this, is just the confidence in which they carry themselves when they're on the court. And,
wow.
And, just seeing what Gentry did last year, just being able to watch her firsthand, and now watching her firsthand this year, I feel like there's a difference. Just even as simple as handling the ball up and down the court, it just feels a lot more confident.
Yeah. I mean, she would love to hear that. When you're in the forest, you don't really see all the trees. So you see everything that's wrong, and you see all the rocks and the bad dirt. But man, what a beautiful, environment that we're in. So, but I need to tell her that, because she always beats herself up, and there's always something to work on.
Sure,
and as a coach,
course,
you're always trying to find, where can we get better? Where's the hole? And that's a great compliment. And we've been talking about confidence here lately, and carrying yourselves as the preseason pick 3. Like, you got to carry yourself that way.
Right.
You have to walk in that way, but they don't really know what that preseason ranking really meant, and how much respect that really meant for y'all, for our staff. And so we're just trying to help them. So you saying that's exactly what we needed to hear. But I feel like Gentry has grown, and we always say only 1.5 players have really played, because G really didn't play a lot. So I mean, that's good to know, and makes me feel a little bit better, Connor, because you're just like, man, you just feel like sometimes you're just beating your head up against a wall. Are they getting it? You want more, but if you can see just a little bit of the difference, like that lets us know we're headed in the right direction.
I'll be a part radio guy, part hype man.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, come on.
Does that work? But you guys go on a big 3-game road trip starting on Saturday, and of course, a pretty big a week off from games. Of course, not a week off from practice, but a big opportunity for your players to kind of refresh mentally, refresh physically, get in the training room. I know that these quote-unquote bye weeks during conference play are always really, really important, and especially even more so when you're getting ready to go on the road for pretty much over a week now, and you're playing some really, really high-level competition. You get a rematch with both North Dakota schools, and then you see the Pioneers for the first time, and of course it's never easy playing at a mile-high elevation, so that's another storyline. But
sure.
Just looking forward, I mean, how are you guys going about preparing for this 3-game stretch? And of course, coming off of 2 big home wins, this is a pretty big one.
Yeah, like you said, we'll take care of our bodies for a couple days. We got practice here in a little bit, but just working on details, working on just fine tuning a few things. We're gonna I hope they're not listening, but we're gonna have like just an active rest day. Just get some shots up. Work on a few things
You might see a lot
defensively.
of eyes get big.
Yeah, I
in that
know, right?
meeting
You're
room.
like, yes. But like just kind of get our bodies back moving, but take it as another day to recover. And then tomorrow we'll have a day off, and then we're getting after it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and get ready for the weekend. But active rest day, and this is the time that we can kind of decompress, take a break, but then lock in mentally as well. And then because I'll start talking about next week and
Right,
the week after,
right.
so we not to overlook, but you got to take care of your bodies, handle this business, and then it starts over. And like you said, a lot of rematches, and then we'll see one team we haven't seen yet in the conference in St. Thomas, just a little bit different how they plug that one in, but just prepping our girls, and our girls are really big on needing to know. I think they do better when they know, so just kind of giving them a forecast, and we've chunked out the season in little bite-sized pieces for our team so that we can chew on. We don't want to chew on the whole steak, so we're just going to cut that baby up and take bite-sized pieces. But yeah, we're going to take a couple days to kind of work on us and then get back after it.
I know you got practice here in a few minutes, so
Yeah.
I'll leave you with this, and I'm going to ask you before KB gets here, so you can't influence your answer.
Oh no.
Who do you have winning tonight, Miami or Indiana in football?
Oh, I'm going with Indiana. What a guy. I'm going. Sorry, KB's gonna love me. He's gonna give me coffee.
I know.
And, I'm going with Indiana.
So do you actually believe Indiana's going to win, or are you just trying to butter him up?
No, I really think so. I mean, their quarterback. I was gonna say point guard, but their quarterback is.
Same thing.
Yeah, he is. He's unbelievable. Just a different guy. I love his post games. I mean, I don't know if he's really real. I kind of say he's an AI quarterback.
I think that's honestly a pretty good way to put it.
Yeah, like I just sit and watch his post game or his after game interviews,
He's just so
and I'm like,
animated.
yeah, and I'm like, is he real? But I'm excited for him and his passion that he has, or at least he gives. I'm kind of an emotional type person, so the passion he has after the games and his love for Indiana and his love for his team, I'm rooting for him, and can't say I've spent a lot of time watching them. I've been watching more us, but I have watched the post games, and I like him, so I'm going to root for him.
Well, I think it's a good choice. I agree with you. I'll also be rooting for Indiana tonight, but we won't tell KB that because.
Oh man, I want some coffee. I'm telling him.
Okay, that's well. You can tell him. I'm not going to tell him because he's really like, "Oh, you went to a different Big Ten school," and then I'm never going to hear the end.
Yeah, you won't.
So anyway, but Coach, as always, thanks so much for joining us here today. Appreciate the time as always,
right,
and we'll let you go do your job and coach your team here
in
just a couple of minutes. But Coach Barnett is coming your way next. The ORU Basketball Coaches Show rolls on until noon, and we'll talk to the head men's basketball coach next from Waldo's on 71st and Yale after this.
Life comes at you fast, whether it's starting a family, making the most out of your side hustle, or anything else financial. Sometimes you just need to talk to someone. That's what we do. We're TTCU Federal Credit Union, and we're here to get you where you want to go. Our money experts can help build your credit, figure out your budgets, and even help plan your savings goals. Together, we've got this. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
At Bill Knight Ford, we're proud to bring you the power of four with Bill Knight Ford of Tulsa, Stillwater, Bartlesville, and now our all-new location in Veneta. You have access to a wider selection of vehicles, more service options, and a dedicated team.
Get the 2025 F-150 Super Crew for just $48,990 or the 2025 Explorer for just $43,660, both with 3.9% financing.
Visit any of our four locations to experience the power of four for yourself or shop BillKnightAuto.com today.
WAC from Ford Credit.
Basketball season is here, so let racers make sure you're on the ball for entertaining. Make it easy with our ready-to-grill items, like our jalapeno poppers and kebabs. We have fan favorites, like our sandwich trays from the deli, or team-themed cakes and cupcakes in the bakery. Racers, the official grocery store of the ORU Golden Eagles.
At Grubbs Acura of Tulsa, we don't just sell cars, we stand behind them. That's why we offer a lifetime warranty on every new Acura and select pre-owned vehicles. Drive with confidence, knowing your investment is protected for the long haul. Stop by Grubbs Acura of Tulsa today. Luxury you can trust, backed for life.
At Bill Knight Ford, we're proud to bring you the power of 4 with Bill Knight Ford of Tulsa, Stillwater, Bartlesville, and now our all-new location in Veneta. You have access to a wider selection of vehicles, more service options, and a dedicated team.
Get the 2025 F-150 Super Crew for just $48,990 or the 2025 Explorer for just $43,660, both with 3.9% financing.
Visit any of our 4 locations to experience the power of 4 for yourself or shop BillKnightAuto.com today.
WAC. Looking for delicious fried and rotisserie chicken? Look no further than Waldo's Chicken. Our Southern-style scratch-made sides are the perfect complement to our mouth-watering chicken. With dine-in, drive-through, and catering options, we got you covered for all occasions. Let us handle your next fundraising event, team lunch, or family gathering with our full-service catering options. Enjoy all your favorite sports with lots of TVs, and don't miss out on our daily food and drink specials each week. With 2 convenient locations at Broken Arrows, Tiger Hill Plaza, and 71st and Yale. Waldo's Chicken, the best fried chicken in Oklahoma.
Family owned and operated since 1969, the Don Thornton Automotive Group is driven to make car buying easy and your ownership experience exceptional. Tulsa's choice for performance and luxury. Audi Tulsa, Don Thornton Cadillac, Land Rover Tulsa, Don Thornton Volkswagen, and Lexus of Tulsa. Visit any of their dealerships on Memorial in Midtown or online at DonThorntonAuto.com.
Life comes at you fast, whether it's starting a family, making the most out of your side hustle, or anything else financial. Sometimes you just need to talk to someone. That's what we do. We're TTCU Federal Credit Union, and we're here to get you where you want to go. Our money experts can help build your credit, figure out your budgets, and even help plan your savings goals. Together, we've got this. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Basketball season is here, so let racers make sure you're on the ball for entertaining. Make it easy with our ready-to-grill items, like our jalapeno poppers and kebabs. We have fan favorites, like our sandwich trays from the deli, or team-themed cakes and cupcakes in the bakery. Racers, the official grocery store of the ORU Golden Eagles.
Looking for delicious fried and rotisserie chicken? Look no further than Waldo's Chicken. Our Southern-style scratch-made sides are the perfect complement to our mouth-watering chicken. With dine-in, drive-through, and catering options, we got you covered for all occasions. Let us handle your next fundraising event, team lunch, or family gathering with our full-service catering options. Enjoy all your favorite sports with lots of TVs, and don't miss out on our daily food and drink specials each week. With 2 convenient locations at Broken Arrows, Tiger Hill Plaza, and 71st and Yale. Waldo's Chicken, the best fried chicken in Oklahoma.
This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Corey Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Welcome you back into ORU Basketball Coaches Show here from Waldo's Chicken on 71st and Yale. Connor Clark now being joined by the head men's basketball coach Corey Barnett on what is a rather big Monday for you, my friend.
It is a big Monday.
A big Monday on the gridiron. The Indiana Hoosiers, it is National Championship game day. Didn't know we'd ever get here, but here we are. So we got to kick it off with that. And I asked Sophie what her prediction was before you got here on purpose so you didn't influence her on her pick.
Okay.
I'll let her know, or I'll let you know what she did after your pick, which I'm assuming is Indiana by a lot.
I don't have a lot.
Not a lot.
It's a road game. I got a 7 to 9 point game.
7. Okay. I mean, how much of a road game, true road game, is it really? I heard there's a lot of Indiana fans making the trip.
There'll be a lot of Indiana fans.
I mean, did you see Atlanta? I mean, that was a home game.
It was red. Yes.
That was a home game. I don't know.
I agree.
I got Indiana 31-17.
Wow.
I think that's going to be. I think their defensive line is too good, and they just don't make mistakes on offense. And I think that's going to be enough. Sorry, Carson Beck.
Yeah, Sig's got to deal with the rat poison of the whole week and a half of how great Indiana is. And
yes.
I think he probably did a pretty decent job of that. But on the flip side of it, Miami's been fed all of this. You got a home game, you're not good enough.
That's true.
They've been up against it every single time.
A lot of bulletin board material.
A lot of bulletin
for the Canes
material
right there. So.
Ain't nobody picking them. So
no, that's true. Well, I got Indiana. You got Indiana. Sophie's got Indiana, and now she wants free coffee out of you because she picked Indiana. So, but I'll let you guys figure that out.
How do I get that? How did I lose this?
Because she was trying to butter you up on.
Oh, nice. That's nice for her.
It's fine. But okay, so Indiana talk there.
Yeah,
Indiana national champions coming your way to a ORU basketball coaches show near you next week. But we'll move on to some basketball talk here. And you guys had 2 big games this week, and one out in Denver, and then one at home against Omaha. And we'll start with a game at Denver, and I think a Denver team which is really sneaky. And I said on the post game too, I'm like, if you're looking for a team to run the table in Sioux Falls, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you went out on a limb and picked them, because their offense, and I know you guys pretty much did almost everything you could to try and stop it, but it is really, really impressive with the personnel that they have brought over from the Division II level mostly, and what they've been able to do. And I mean, just we'll start there. What did you notice about their offense? Of course, Carson Johnson put together a career night, and sometimes that just happens in the game of basketball.
Yeah. I mean, I just didn't. I was disappointed in the way that we took him away, made it difficult on him, especially early on. When you have a guy who can score like that and who has scored like that so often in college, you let him see a few go in, and it's a long night, regardless of what you do. And I thought we adjusted well, but again, once he's been comfortable, he stays comfortable. So that was one area where I think our lack of attention to detail early on in the game and following the game plan was something that we really need to learn from and grow in. But they're an elite offense. They got a lot of guys who can beat you. You go back and you watch the game, there was a high level amount of difficult shots made by them, but it wasn't made hard enough by us. There's no excuse to allow a team to get to 98 points regardless. There's got to be a different level of commitment and toughness and edge to you to not allow that. And it's something that I think we grew in from game to the Omaha, but it's an area that we have to continue to elevate each and every opponent that we face. I
know it wasn't an ideal night defensively, but offensively, you guys did a lot of really, really good things. You shoot 50% for the field, you score 52 points in the paint. Obviously, Connor Dow got going again, 23 points for him. Ty, 18 points in his return from missing a couple of games due to injury. I think we saw one of the best games from Luke Gray in an ORU uniform, especially offensively, in that game on Wednesday. And I feel like the passing was just really, really good. And I know you guys have talked about assist to turnover ratio a lot this year. 17 assists to just 6 turnovers, your lowest total this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys are buying into the offensive end in terms of how it needs to be shared and limiting our turnovers by valuing each and every possession. And we've talked about it as a staff. We just talked about it in our long team meeting, but we've continued to grow in terms of not turning the ball over and taking care of the ball. Ty is now at a positive assist turnover. Multiple guys are in a high level positive assist turnover in league play. So it's an area that we've continued to grow in, and we have to continue to lean into and value each and every single possession. And there's just a different level of edge and grittiness that we have to find in those pivotal stretches. There's, for whatever reason, second half, when we hit a wall of fatigue, teams go on, I think it's a 10-0 run, a 12-0 in a 14-2 run. In the 3 pivotal games here down the stretch. And it's an area where our experience is consistently exposed. And it's an area that we really need to grow in and get a different level of toughness and connectivity during those moments.
Oh, and when you talk about a kind of a fatigue wall, would you say that's more of a physical fatigue or a mental fatigue in those moments?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, I think with the injuries prior to the season and the things that we were playing guys more minutes than I don't love playing any of these guys 30 plus minutes. It's just that they aren't, especially at the level that we play with how hard we play both offensively and defensively. It's taxing on you.
Right.
But unfortunately, that is the position that we are in. And I think it needs to be an area across the board that we got to grow in. Guys stepping up in bigger areas, being able to play more minutes to take some of those top 6 guys legs out so where they can be a little bit fresher. But also, our guys need to be able to push through when they feel tired. And all of our guys have grown in that area, but just not to the level that they need to, and they need to continue to push themselves to be able to get there. And unfortunately, in this game, a lot of the high minutes were due to our lack of discipline and fouls. Everybody across the board was just very, very undisciplined with reaches and cheap ones and off balance body bumps and things that we work on and drill on a daily basis. So that was our main level of focus. And again, I thought we took a step against Omaha in that area.
Now, I know that towards the end of that first half, it was kind of a frustration-filled segment there because I know Ty picks up the tech, and it just seems like nothing can bounce your way, and they're making shots at a really high level. And you mentioned the difficulty in which they were making shots. And when you move on from that game and you kind of look at that sequence of events that happened, how can your team learn from that and try and apply that moving forward? Because, again, I mean, there's no secret. It was a frustrating sequence because just it felt like you guys couldn't get a bounce.
No, 100%. Yeah, I mean, we all need to control our emotions better. To be honest with you, I felt like that was the moment to press the gas, and personally, and our team didn't respond in the way that I would have liked. We just don't have enough of a level head about us to be able to use and channel that frustration into a positive, more connected way. We allowed it to get us to where we were more frustrated, more complaining in body language. And it didn't affect us on the offensive end, but it really affected us on the defensive end of having that grittiness and that toughness and that edge. And that's what I was hoping would happen. It didn't. So I learned something new about our team and our group. And there are certain individuals that need to be able to really reset and come into those moments and be able to figure out a way to, hey, this is inexcusable. We're not allowing this next possession to be affected by the last one. And we just do that way too often. And it's a thing that we really focus on and talk about on a daily basis. And now we need to figure out a different way to do it because it hasn't had enough carryover.
Well, you guys move over to Omaha, and you mentioned the much improved defensive effort against a Maverick team that brings back a lot from their conference championship winning team a season ago. And of course, a new addition in Paul Jobay, who had a really good night. And he's obviously just a big time player coming over from Miami at 25. But then, I mean, you guys limited Tony Osborne to a pretty uncharacteristic night, I thought, for him. He had, he's 3 for 7, but I feel like he had a couple of bad misses that he normally does not have. Lance Waddles was kept in check as well. So, I mean, outside of Paul, and again, I mean, when it's all said and done, he may be a finalist for Conference Player of the Year just based on the way he's playing right now. But it felt like you guys really were able to sit down in key moments. And I know there was a scoring drought that lasted about 5 minutes in that second half, but you didn't really allow them to stretch it in that scoring drought either.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's a ship and you plug one hole and another one comes open type deal. Like we really did a good job being disciplined and not turn the ball over and not putting them on the free throw line outside of late in the game and having to foul situations. We dominated the free throw line with our physicality and how we attacked the rim, but then we let up on the way the ball needs to move and attack the paint, the discipline of our shots. And that, although we only had 12 turnovers, there were some timely ones in there that I just thought were lack of urgency and discipline. And it led to a stretch of really 3 key turnovers that whether they led to a basket, but it was a big momentum swing. And I thought in the first half, our guys came to fight. To start the second half, we had a lull for whatever reason, and it really was a major detriment to trying to find a way to get that win.
Well, a big part of the reason why you guys were able to dominate the free throw line was the play of Ofri Neve on Saturday. 22 points, 13 rebounds, goes to the line 13 times, makes 10 of them, and he's got a real knack for getting to the line. I mean, Brian on the broadcast called him a relentless driver, and I think that's a great assessment of him.
Yeah.
He will just do whatever it takes to get to the bucket, and we saw that early and often, and for the entirety of those 33 minutes that he played. And I mean, we've talked about his leadership capabilities, how vocal he is, and of course he obviously leads by example as well. And it looked like an Ofri that refused to lose the game on Saturday.
Yeah, he had a serious edge to him, and I was proud of the way that he attacked, and especially the way he pursued rebounds. It's an area that we've really been trying to emphasize and focus on. And I thought he was incredible with just his energy level to go get it with 2 hands consistently and have a different level of urgency to him. And unfortunately, with a few key stretches, we weren't able to get a win behind a very good, urgent performance by him. But there's still plenty of areas where he needs to grow on the defensive end and across the board. Like it's an attention to detail that has to go to a different level. And thankfully, we have a solid 3 days of practice here to prepare for a team that we've already seen and played against. And I think our guys have a different level of edge to them going into this practice later on today.
Yeah, and now we're almost halfway through conference play, which is crazy to think about. As a first-year head coach in this league, what would you say some of the biggest things you've learned about this conference thus far and just kind of the overall difficulty of the conference? Because I feel like it's an overlooked mid-major league. There's a ton of talent that comes through every single year. I mean, you look at the entire first and second team postseason last year is all gone because they were all so good in the transfer portal. So what have you been able to take away from this conference so far? Yeah,
I think that's unfortunately a consistent thing that has happened and is probably going to happen portal-wise for us moving forward. if you're high level in this league, the thing I've learned is every single opponent has a elite shot maker, at least 1, 2, 3. St. Thomas has 3 or 4. Obviously Denver had 3 major ones. Omaha had 2 major ones. And it's just, when you have that type of elite shot making, it puts you in a position to be able to overcome some of your other issues, whether they be defensive lapses, whether they be rebounding issues. If you have high level shot makers, it helps a lot. So that's something that our league has consistently across the board, and we have it as well. And with whether it be Ty or Connor or Ofri or even the way that Udo's been scoring, we just need to be able to get it to where they all collectively play at that level on a consistent basis, night in and night out. And it's not that everybody needs to be perfect by any means, but we have to have a different level of edge to us, and it needs to start this week.
And you mentioned Udo too. I mean, he's been playing really, really well in conference play. It's like he flipped a switch, especially scoring wise, and double figures all the time now for him. And how much does it do for your team now? Because he's turning into a very legitimate post threat in this league, and somebody that everybody's going to have to look out for in the scouting report each and every single night.
No, I mean, he's been massive for us. He's the leading shot blocker in the league, and I think he's really started to get more patient when he gets to the paint, his paint touches. But a lot of it for Udo, and it's hard for these guys. Like they transfer a lot. They hear from a lot of different voices. It's just the trust factor, and he's, in my opinion, started to really turn the corner in his trust and the way that he's leaning into not only our staff but his teammates, and the way he responds to teammates, and how he handles adversity in practices, which then overflows into the game. Like, he's done a much better job. He's been very intentional about that, and he's taken major strides, and it needs to be something that he does consistently on a night in, night out basis. And the more that he does it, the more trust he builds with his teammates, the better we'll be as a group.
Now, you mentioned you get a rematch with both North Dakota schools coming up, first on Thursday against UND, and then Saturday against North Dakota State. A team you guys took double overtime on the road, and now you fast forward a couple weeks, and they're still undefeated in league play, and They're a really, really good team, and you guys give them all they can handle, which I think is an encouraging sign. I mean, I don't mean that negatively. I think that's a really, really good thing. But we'll start with the North Dakota game, and I know you guys were obviously disappointed to start off conference play with a loss to them in a matchup that you guys feel like personnel-wise you have the talent edge. So now, second time around, what are you able to address? And, of course, the second time you're going to see them on film, they've got a little bit more in conference play. I mean, what changes from Scout 1 to Scout number 2?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that he's done an incredible job with this group. They're really leaning in, and their continuity has helped them kind of bring back a lot of that energy and passion and connectivity level that they need. And they lean into who they are. Defensively, they're going to trap you in the ball screens. They're going to trap you in the post. They're going to be very aggressive, whether that ends up being a good thing or a bad thing night to night. They can go, at Omaha and give up 90+, or they can come home and have a chance to put themselves to beat some of the top teams in our league, whether it be South Dakota State or others. And they've done a really good job at leaning into that identity. And they have a lot of guys who just play all out. They give a max amount of effort, whether it be on the offensive glass or the way they attack the paint, the way they screen and roll. And so they're a group that plays with a really, really high motor. And that's one area that we pride ourselves on, that we've talked about. We refuse to get beat on playing harder. And that's an area that we really need to focus and lean into as we step forward and play a really good opponent that's really well coached.
I will say that is something that a lot of people told me post Denver too, is just the amount of, how hard you guys play for the entire 40 minutes. And I think we saw that even in a game at Denver where it was frustrating, and even in a game against Omaha where, there's still a drought, but you guys still sit down defensively. And I think that's starting to trickle through the league that's the reputation. You guys are going to, win or lose, play a relentless 40 minutes.
Yeah, it's been our focus from day one. Is just we want to make teams feel us. Obviously, definitely would have hoped it led to a significant amount of more wins than we have right now, and it hasn't. But I will tell you, our guys lean in, and their buy-in is still there to a high level, and they know what it looks like, and they know why they're falling short, and they're working to correct a lot of those errors. Unfortunately, a good majority of them are youth, and it's an area that we need our youth to be able to step up and get that experience and be dudes in those moments. But we also need our guys to be the consistent presence that they are. What game in or game out, whatever's happening, whatever run the other team goes on, we need to be the more connected team in those moments. That's an area we really got to grow.
Well, let's take a quick look at North Dakota, currently 10-12 overall, but off to a 4-2 conference start, which I don't know many people saw coming preseason, but you got to give them credit. They've been playing, as you said, really, really good basketball as of late. And we tap into their individual statistics, and again, a bunch of guys we've seen before, and they've got 3 averaging double figures, but then the next 4 or 5 are averaging 7 or more. So it's just an extremely balanced attack. It starts with Grayson Allman averaging 13.5, and then honestly, one of my favorite players in the league just to kind of watch and the way he plays is Eli King. It's not flashy, but it gets the job done. He averages over 5 rebounds as a guard. And I mean, now seeing him in person one time and just being able to break him down on the film, I mean, he's got a chance to be an all-league player despite not even averaging 12 points a game.
No, and I mean the way he's almost 3-to-1 assist turnover ratio, the way he shares the ball, the way he attacks the paint with the force that he plays with, and he is all-out effort for every single second that he gets. And he's one of the higher minute guys in our league with almost 30 minutes a game. So I think he does a really good job at setting the tone for who they are and their identity and how hard they need to play. And they're another team that consistently night in, night out, they've had other guys beat you, whether it be Curtis stepping up in different games, whether it be Thomas, who really hurt us up there, who just made pivotal plays down the stretch. And even some games, South Dakota State, I think Smith was a huge reason why they won that game coming off the bench with his energy and scoring. And so they have a lot of different guys who are going to contribute to winning and guys that can beat you. So it's just not just, hey, let's just shut this guy's water off and we'll be okay. You have to be very connected and good defensively consistently for 40 minutes. And it was one of our better defensive efforts up there. We just started the game very sloppy and not having the attention to detail we needed to on the offensive end and how to attack their traps. And I thought we were really overthinking instead of just playing basketball and allowing their automatic traps to allow us to create advantages. Right away, they're going to give us a 2-on-1. And so now let's create out of it and attack and finish and get open shots consistently. And a lot of that leads to opportunities in the glass because they're scrambling, so they don't have a body on a body, and it's an area where I think we can really attack if we have the right type of mindset going in from 1 second on.
Yeah, I did want to ask you about that because they do double team a lot, and when you put 2 on the ball, obviously that means somebody's got to be open.
No doubt.
And how do you go about forcing their defense to be spot on with the rotations? Because I don't really care what level of college basketball you're at. I mean, that's a tough defense to play because you got to know who's doubling the ball. You got to know where the open guy is, and you got to know exactly where the other 3 dudes are going to rotate exactly when. So how do you go about the second time around exploiting that a little bit more early?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, watching it back, I thought our plan of attack was in a decent spot. It was the execution of it, and we need to continue to work on it this week. And they do a really good job, and you know what you're going to get from them in terms of where they're coming from and how they're coming and what it's going to look like rotation wise. But it's about throwing that ball with the right level of zip, catching it with 2 hands, attacking long closeouts, not settling for shots that feel somewhat open, but there's probably somebody flying to contest, and now it becomes a fairly contested low percentage shot. So you got to be able to make really quick catch decisions and rim decisions and half-second decisions in those opportunities that we create advantages. And we didn't do that well enough at their place, and I'm confident our guys will have the right mental approach going into Thursday.
You know, when you talk about the offense too, just kind of executing from half to half, and I know it was kind of a tale of 2 halves up there, and there were times against Omaha in that second half where I know the scoring drought hits, and then you guys come down and run a really, really smooth set. I mean, pretty much flawless. So what is, and I doubt you have the answer to this because it's just kind of a tough question to answer, but how do you find that more consistent basis of being able to run those sets to a more, I guess, swift pace, if for lack of a better term?
Yeah, I mean, it's the attention to detail in practice when we're executing it, and that you're only going to have the carryover. Like everything you do in practice is going to show up on the court. Like whatever you do in the dark shows up in the light consistently in your life, or whether it's on the court. So our guys need to have that attention to detail for the entirety of practice. There can't be any slippage, and they have to have that level of urgency and care and demand really for each other consistently. And that's an area that we just talked about. We got to grow in, and it comes from the top of our leadership of not allowing any kind of slippage within yourself individually, but especially collectively from a brother. And you got to be able to be held to that standard by who is holding you to the standard. And then you have to be courageous enough to hold another person, regardless of how you think they may react or be able to take coaching. We have to hold them to that standard on a daily basis. And it's an area where you really see the youth of our team and the lack of continuity from year to year when it gets hard. And I think they're doing better in terms of leaning in and holding each other to that standard, but it has to be an everyday thing because we are going to lose every single game we go into with continuity. We're a whole new team, period. So we need to know that going in. We knew it in the offseason. We've talked about it. Now it's about going out and executing. It doesn't matter. We all are on 1-year deals now with the portal. We all get to lean into this second with each other.
Right.
I talked about today. We have 42 days until the end of the season. Then it's conference tournament time. So this regular season has 42 days left in it. We control what we choose to do in those 42 days. And we control a ton of our own destiny, and allowing it to get to somebody else through the looking at the speck in our teammates' eyes instead of the plank in our own, it's just going to be detrimental. And it's an area we really got to be able to respond in as a staff and as a team on a consistent basis.
Now, I know any type of streak like this is tough for any coach, any player, but it seems like your guys' group, and even as something as simple as, a team meal or a team meeting or whatever, it seems like this group is pretty tight, and they're always talking. They're always, arguing with Earl about some Houston Rockets player, AJ Devancer, or how many guys are guarding.
He thinks Sagoon is Jokic.
Which is always pretty funny to listen to from across the room. But I mean, what can you say about just kind of the guys' attitudes? Because again, it's easy to kind of get secluded and not really be as tight as I feel like this group is.
Yeah, I would say we recruited great human beings. That's a huge part of it. I love every one of these guys individually, and I think they all have different issues and areas that they need to grow in. But it doesn't mean that they aren't fully committed and don't love this place. And we haven't gotten the wins, and we all hate losing. Losing sucks. It drives me nuts, and I stay up way too late thinking about it and finding a different button to push with these guys. And but it's the same with them. It's not like they're just coming in and casually going to the next practice or film session. There is a level of urgency, and they're leaning in the right way. And unfortunately, it has not shown the results, and that becomes hard. I've been around it before. When you lose, it's all the warts show up more, and you start pointing to other guys, and you allow stuff to become bigger than it is. And instead of just leaning in and giving the same level of effort, but just a little bit more on that next possession. And that's an area that I think our guys are continuing to learn and grow in, and not accepting losing, but not allowing losing to become toxic to where it eats you up. And now you got bad body language, and now you're blaming others. And that's a really hard balance for anyone in any profession. But especially ours, where it's a result based. It's what does that score say at the end of the game? And right now it hasn't said what we want it to say. And we know what actions lead to winning. We keep pointing to those things consistently and pounding the rock. And we know that we are very confident that there's going to be breakthrough, and that this group's going to learn from it. And like Corey Alford said in our talk today with our team, he just said, guys, I've become a better man because of where we are today. Everything we've gone through, the losing, that I'm very confident that it's supposed to be what it is. On January 19th, we're not where we want to be, but I know that I've become a better man. Every single one of you guys has. And as we move forward out of this, we control what we control. And if we lean into those things in a real way and not try and point to others and blame and victim and all that stuff, we're going to be in a much better spot, and we're going to be able to flip that win column here pretty soon.
And a big couple of days leading up to this UND game, and I know you kind of hinted at it before, but what does that look like for your team, and how do you get you guys prepared not only physically but mentally?
Max effort, max focus, max force, and practice. That's it. It's every detail. It's every drill. It's every film session. It's every review. Our guys, we need to have a different edge to us. It's losing is not what we came here to do. And we want to leave a legacy, and our legacy is going to be we attack everything with an unbelievable amount of force and urgency and determination. And we're going to attack this North Dakota Scout like it's our last. And you look at a guy like Lane Sparks, he goes into Stillwater having no idea that those could be the last 17 minutes he plays in college basketball. And he gets that taken away from him. I hope he gets another year. I think he deserves another year, but he doesn't know that. And so every single one of our guys need to play with that level of passion. You have no idea what's coming tomorrow.
Right.
It's not given. So let's lean into this and lean into each other and love every second of it and give it everything we have.
Well, Coach, as always, thanks so much for the time. Good luck to your Hoosiers tonight.
Thank you.
I know we'll all be watching. It'll be a big game. But
can I be honest with you?
Yes.
I haven't watched a snap all season.
I know. I figured.
I love him, and I'll cheer for him.
That's fine. I mean, you're a little preoccupied. So
yeah.
I mean, are you going to rely? Is the Iceman going to be texting you? Constantly.
I rely on ice for a lot of things in my life. Yeah, but I'll probably.
I don't know if I should be laughing at that in a good way or a bad way.
I'll be wrestling a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old if I'm not watching film.
So. Okay, well that's fair. You've got other things going on. So
there you go.
That's pretty good. But as always, thanks so much for the time, and looking forward to chatting again on Thursday post game.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
So, and we'll be on time, I promise. So,
do you promise?
Yes, I do.
I'm there at 6. You're there?
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right.
Don't worry, I'll be there.
20 push-ups if you're not.
Deal.
Okay, good.
Deal.
I
I'll
like
do
it.
it.
Let's
I'll
do it.
Well, that's head coach Corey Barnett, and this has been another edition of the ORU Basketball Coaches Show. Hopefully, I don't have to do 20 push-ups come Thursday. I'll be practicing until then. But as always, thanks so much for the time. Thanks so much to Waldo's for having us out here from 11 till noon. We'll talk to you next week from 71st in Yale. This has been the ORU Basketball Coaches Show on the ORU Sports Network.